How I learned it, I mean, basically what the PM got. We clean all the ice machines, and you don't just walk away after you clean it. You got to watch it make ice. So you monitor, and so that's a good way to learn how it's supposed to work. And that's what I tell a lot of these young guys is that's how you do it. When you clean ice machines, pay attention. Don't just be on your phone. Watch it. Watch the
Hmm.
water. What it does, the cycle. Watch and learn. And once you get enough of it, you really start kicking. It gets up here in your head, and you know that's where you learn. Now, they look at their company looks at you. Well, he's good at this. Let's send him on this call. And it's like, oh my god.
Hola, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable Trades podcast. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and you like this video. And if you're listening to this on the audio over on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or any other platform, please leave a review. That's all free and it helps support the show and helps it get out to more people. And of course, I'm your host, Adrian Garcia. I am an HVAC technician, licensed contractor here in Texas, and I've been doing this about 18 years. And we just have a lot of good conversations with good people in different trades now, whether it's HVAC, plumbing, electrical. I've had some others in like auto mechanics, anything like that. You bring them on, have a good conversation, and hopefully get more trade awareness out there. I also want to thank our new sponsors, CallRail. So I've been more into marketing and just online presence with our business, even though we only do commercial. Word of mouth is really good for any business. But once you get to a place where you want to be, a big name online or just anywhere, be recognizable, like I said, online presence, have a nice website, be able to be searchable in Google and all these different search engines, and just have a big presence. You need to know where to spend your money, and all I'm going to say is that CallRail can help you track that if that's something that you're interested in. CallRail can tell you, hey, these are not working so much. These are working really good. Stop spending your money here. Put more money and effort into this, and just be smarter about what you spend. So make sure you go by callrail.com. They do have a no risk free trial and you can check it out for yourself. And when you're doing your day-to-day work, you got to make bids, you got to do those quotes. I think one of the things that we have to deal with now is finding and pricing out parts. And that's why I wanted to tell you guys about We Supply Trades. They are a family owned online distributor with over 90 years of experience in HVAC, hydronics, and the plumbing world. And if you need parts quickly, they have a massive inventory, which I've been told they've been adding to weekly. You can order by 3:30 p.m. Eastern and get it shipped same day. They have their pro membership, which is not only free, but you also get the benefit of better pricing, free shipping over $99, free returns. And for my listeners, you get a bonus of 15% off your first order with code reliable15. And if you're looking for a supplier who truly understands your world, please go check out wesupplytrades.com. I'll leave my exclusive link down in the description. And these guys just get it. Local HQ is a marketing that is geared towards the trades, proven strategies that get your business more leads. They can help you rank higher on Google and all that you would need. So reach out to them at localhq.com/reliable and mention me or the Reliable Trades podcast and get 2 months of SEO for free. What is up, Mike? How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Adrian? Doing pretty good. Enjoying this long weekend. Finally,
Oh, you got the,
working.
I'm probably gonna have to work Monday, but you got the 3-day weekend?
I'm off. I made sure I was off. They were asking if people wanted to work, and I'm like, no, sir. And
Nah.
I went 1 day off in 3 weeks, and I'm like, you know what? I need a break. I was starting to feel it. Really
Do
starting
you
to feel
work
it.
weekends usually?
Uh, no. When I'm on
Okay.
call, yes, but last Sunday we had a walk-in freezer install at one of those chicken joints that closed on Sundays, and so That was that picture I sent you. The that one
The
intelligent sitting outside the cooler. So
hmm
that was pretty fun. Yeah, first time I
did
ever
they get
done something.
a whole system change out, or what was that?
Yes, yeah, it's a
Oh,
ceiling
okay.
mount. It had the old like the cold pack that the fans were, facing and blew out the back, but now they got a ceiling mount. So
Oh, they changed it.
yeah, I changed it. Yeah.
Uh, okay. I've never had to convert one to a different
What
style.
was when you get a system like that, it's a bare bones system. You have to put the
Okay.
EV in, everything. It comes with all the parts and all the wiring. None of the wiring was there. No terminal board, nothing. So it was pretty, you know, challenging, but we got it done. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool because I was very interested in that IFM kit, and then you
it
showed me
worked.
you guys did that. It's pretty cool. You ran it just you didn't have to run it too far, right? Just outside the box.
Um, it comes in a 25-foot kit and a 40-foot kit.
Oh, okay.
So it's got all the high voltage on the one side. You got all your sensors and everything from the other side. So that's what made it kind of challenging.
So now you
So
go
yeah,
up. Now you just go up to the door and you can do everything from there.
yeah, because it's one of those little closet types. Only like a 4x9 box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you walk through the cooler. What you're looking at is the cooler door.
Yeah.
That was first time I ever did that, and I wanted to
Oh,
do
it's
it.
it's it's one of those you walk in and then the freezer's inside the cooler.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I've never
Yes.
worked at that specific location like that customer, but we've had some of those. I see them more now in the hospitals. Like I don't think I have any that are like that, like outside, like restaurants. But
Mm-hmm.
those are always fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like when the freezer goes out, you got to get into it and all that, and then
hmm
because we have
Yeah.
our guys had a walk-in freezer, and I haven't had to mess with it too much at the hospital. Like those are like top-notch walk-in boxes. They always take care of them. They're too good.
Clean.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're too good sometimes. So like when the drain messes up, I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be a tough one, because
Yeah.
it's like -10 in there, and you don't have the outside right there. You got to go through the cooler and all that. So I
Yes,
I
sir.
remember working on that when I started, and I was like, man, it was a pain in the ass. But then our guys, like our senior tech was with the apprentices, and they had the drain line clog up, and I'm thinking the heater gave out. I didn't get to check in with them, but yeah, they had to. I was like, yeah, it's gonna take a while. You're gonna have to take a torch to it or do something.
Hot water torch. Yeah. All pans everywhere. You want to catch the water. Yeah. You can't
Yeah,
have it in there.
and it's one of
So
those. I forget what it is, but they're big systems. Like not super huge. It's still like a light commercial application. Like the boxes, I want to say 15 by 15, something like that. And but it's a single fan. It's a huge fan, but it's a single fan walk-in. Like they're super old. We never had to replace the evaporators on the freezers, nor did I want to, just because of the how difficult it would be, because they got all new
yeah.
condensers, and I
Mm.
was like, no, those things are built like a tank. Like
Yes,
like you
sir.
should.
It usually is thick
I was
copper.
like, I was
Yeah.
like, you should keep those evaporators. Like they work really well.
Yeah. Why replace it if it still works? That's my theory.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, it gets to -10 real easy. They have never had issues. The only issues they have had is like the doors, and then like every now and then the drain, but that's about it.
Yeah. Usually the case. People
Um,
leave it open.
well, they leave it open or they abuse the hell out of them, because obviously, if you've done restaurant work, you understand how they treat the equipment. And what I like to do, what I've always said is I like to just kind of show up. I don't like announce anything. I just show up, walk through, right? Walk through the back without saying anything, and you'll find a door propped open, or them slamming something, kicking something. I'm like, yeah, that's your problem.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah.
uh,
I mean, I see this equipment a lot. I mean, I'm on site at this place pretty much all week long, every week. So yeah, it's a big. I work at a university, so they
oh,
have
okay.
it's in dining halls, and so that's the bulk of my time. It's
Oh, so is
going.
this restaurant in that location then?
It's yes, it's on
Okay.
campus. Yeah, they
Yeah,
have
yeah,
two
we
of
have. Yeah, it's weird. We have that too. We have the university where they have that actual restaurant in there, and then across the street there's another one.
them. Oh, they're
Yeah,
both packed. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
uh,
busy. That's why you can only get it on a Sunday. You can't do it any other day.
well, at
So
least you have that because I have that issue. I have other like sandwich shops now that are open. They're open all freaking day now. They're open for breakfast and then all the way through 11 o'clock at night or something, or maybe midnight. And I'm like, yeah, when do I get to work on this stuff? Because all the stuff that breaks down is always like where it's heavy traffic, right? So I've been
well,
trying to catch them.
I've
Go
learned to
ahead.
work around. I'm like, we just got to go in and do it. Just
Oh
you
yeah,
got a day,
yeah. There
you got a
there's
day.
only so much you can do because I'll try and go before they open, but like at that point, it's like I can only catch a small window, and then if it takes longer, it takes longer. So yeah, recently they were like, yeah, we just come check it. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna have all the equipment out. You're gonna be making sandwiches around me, and I just gotta deal with it. If you're cool with it, then we're cool. Then it's fine, right? And I go and they're mostly good about it because they want their stuff fixed. So I'm like, yeah, as long as you're okay with it, I'm used to it. I used to work at like the IHOPs and the Denny's and all that,
Oh,
and they were just stepping over you the whole time. So I get it. Like I'm used to it.
batter. Oh God.
The grease.
Yeah, the grease. Yeah, yes, the grease.
I used to ruin my uniform so quickly because I would just stick to everything. I had to learn not to lean on anything.
Arms length. Is that what you're doing? Arms length and
Yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah. Or if you're
Between
on
the
the ladder, on the reach-ins, because the condensers were always on top, you just make sure you don't
Mhm.
like rest your arms on it. If not, that uniform's ruined.
You ever take the blue towels and just set it around so you can put your arms on stuff?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And stick to that, but it won't stick to you.
or
That's
or take cardboard because somebody what
yeah.
was it? I forgot what we were talking about, and I think I was using like a kneeling pad, and I was like, well, this is what I use now because I don't have to deal with that environment anymore. Like we don't do those kinds of restaurants anymore. But back then, because they were like, why don't you use cardboard? I was like, well, I don't have any, or these places don't have cardboard, right? They throw their stuff out like super quick. So I was like, I never catch them.
Yeah.
But back in the day, yes, I used to carry. I would even carry like scrap cardboard on the van, right? Because I
Yeah.
would need it so often, and those places were so greasy because you got a fryer or several fryers, and then your cooling equipment, right? Your make line, your prep cooler, your reach and freezer, like all that stuff's covered in that grease. So I used to carry cardboard heavily, and it was always a you would just lay it down on the floor, or I would take pieces and put it on the unit so I could like lean on it. So you got to do what you
Yeah.
got to do. I also want to thank DIVERSITECH. They simplify your work. They have everything a contractor needs to complete a job. That goes from equipment mounting, condensate, management, tools, maintenance chemicals, electrical components, indoor air quality, and much more. They have different branches under the same umbrella. More than likely, you're already using some of their products or tools. So go check out diversitech.com, and it's your one stop shop for everything HVAC.
Do what you got to do. Yes, sir. I mean, that's the one thing that's keeping me kind of going into the hot side. Looking at all those fryers. I mean, the other stuff, yeah, it's like, whoosh. Yeah, got a whole set of tools, just the grease tools.
Dude, like I don't do a hot side, and I've done it before as like a parts, replacer, runner, whatever you want to call it. Like just being a helper on
Yeah.
the hot side, right? And man, and I still every now and then work with my dad, like seeing what he does, helping him out because he's getting older, right? Man, that is like that job is tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Props to them. Props. Because, yeah,
And
yeah,
recently I helped him fix some ovens and stuff, and I'm like, okay, like it's
terrible.
similar, but it's a very different way of diagnosing and like thinking. Like they're similar parts, and once you get it, you can probably do, any of that equipment. But there's so many brands, there's so many like different kinds of ovens, different kinds of fryers, and now everything's electronic, right? We're
Oh,
dealing with that on
touch screen.
refrigeration, but the
Yeah.
fryers are all electronic now too, so he has to like program them and do all this other crap. I'm like, man, I was like, yeah, hats off to them because
No
it's
doubt.
a
No doubt.
it's a dirtiest job as well. I know you see Pat Finley whenever he's
Mhm.
posting about his work stuff. I'm like, man, that's tough.
I mean, I have a hot side guy
Yeah.
that he's going there with me, so he gets all those calls. He have it,
You
So
haven't dabbled into that side?
I have, yes, when
Okay.
they needed me, and he's not available, and I'm like, all right, I've gotten lucky. Put it that way.
Oh,
But
okay. Yeah.
I'm like, no, no, the
Yeah.
ovens I can go in. Usually, a lot of times it's burnt wires. It's got to have the hot wires. The cloth wire, and
Yeah, we've
just
seen that. Because when we had one that was actually like some friends of mine, they're like, "Hey, can you come by? We know you do, this kind of work." I was like, "Okay." So obviously, reaching coolers, I say, are a little bit tougher because you got to wait for them to cycle. There's all these little finicky things that can happen versus like I prefer walk-ins. It's just like it either works or it doesn't, like pretty much.
true.
And this one, they had everything messed up doors, temp controllers out of whack, like everything. So it took me a while to fix those, and then they also wanted the oven checked. So my dad went and I helped him out, and I was like, oh, okay, like it was burnt wires, so it wasn't. He was like, oh, we just fix the wiring, put it back together. He's like, because the previous company wanted to replace like several valves and I don't know what. I think we did end up replacing something, but it was minor. Our bill was like half the cost of whatever they got quoted, right? So I was like, oh, okay, this is not too bad. But the whoever had worked on it before, I mean, that's a whole other thing. All
Yeah,
these wires were like rubbing out. There was like disconnected wires just left hanging, and I was like, my dad's like, we'll do the best that we can, but you might want to tell them they might want to replace some of this wiring because it was just left like, and there was a board in there too that was like just left hanging. It was a mess. I was like, well, we'll get it going for you, but you might need some other repairs. It's just, we're trying to
yeah,
keep the cost down for them, so we helped them out.
yeah. I prefer the walk-ins. My least favorite are the drawers, low boys and drawers. God, they're yeah.
You
You
know
got to
what's
take.
what's everything apart? I know. I just dealt with that. I had to replace an evaporator on a make line cooler for a pizza place, and I was like, y'all got to get out of my way. I'm just gonna start pulling out drawers. I'm gonna start pulling out everything. I was like, we got to change out this leaking evap. I
Half your
gotta
body.
I gotta climb into it. Yeah, man, those I don't miss that.
No, I don't. Just I prefer the walk-in. Like you said, it's a lot more room in there to work in, and ceiling mounts are a little different story. Like the last video you had there with the fan, I saw that was yeah, got the
Yeah,
ladder. That's a good trick. I like that. Yeah, really good
my
trick.
yeah, my dad, because I didn't make it out there. It was like a location close to his house, so he's like, oh, I'm gonna go look at it because they were complaining that one of the motors had just stopped working. Of course, we had just been there. I was like, of course, something happened. And then he went, and it was, they're those ECM ones. And he's like, oh yeah, it's just not working. He's like, I'm gonna take off the grill and see if I can just take it out. I was like, it's not that easy. I was like, you got
No,
to go through the back. So
yeah. Did you have a
uh,
union on the pipe already on the drain
on
line?
that one had a coupling already, and I think it might have been me because I think I
No.
cleaned that one out like a year ago, and I had to cut it. So anytime that's kind of how I know I've worked on it before is if there's not a union but a coupling, and
Okay.
because I'll have to cut them because they're always installed without anything. There's just straight pipe. So I'll usually cut them and bring it down and everything. But the reason I do the ladder trick, which works great, and I've been telling my guys like do that, is because one snapped on me one time. Like the whole thing
Oh,
fell.
that's not good.
So it was the same exact cooler, but it might have been maybe the same amount of fans or maybe one more was a really big one. And yeah, we tried to hinge it down, and those things were rusted out already, and it just snapped. And I was like, man, I was like, we need to get some ladders and prop it up and try to. And I used a plumbing strap to kind of put it back together. And after
Dude,
that, I'm like, I'm not trusting those things anymore.
no, no, sir. They just dump water right there the whole time.
And
So,
it's well, because they're pizza places too, so all the onions and acidic stuff that they hold in there just
hmm
rust everything out. So I just
yeah,
don't trust them.
I don't either. Yeah.
um, so quick, I know we've already been chopping it up, but quick intro: who you are and what do you do?
Okay. All right. I'm Mike Miranda. Call me Mike B online. Um, I've been doing HVAC refrigeration for about 11 years now. I started when I was 43. I'm 53 years old. I
Oh,
was,
really?
yeah, I started late. I started
Okay.
late. I'm glad. My wife was a dispatcher, parts girl, office girl for a HVAC company for a long time. She's always trying to get me into this business. And, I made good money where I was beforehand, and circumstances happened. I was in construction doing caulking of all things, caulking, nothing but caulking. And did a lot of other stuff before that, concrete work, seal coat, painting. It just with this one company, we did everything. And circumstances happened to where the company kind of went down, the economy and the buildings, nobody's building new stuff. And so I'm like, I started making a change. He folded up. I started working for another guy, and he didn't treat me as well.
Hmm.
So I had 20 years experience doing this and can do it blindfolded. And he was one of those guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started taking night classes, HVAC night classes on my own time, my own money. Then, all right, it's time for a move. I applied to 20 different companies around here. I mean, it's a bunch around here, physically handing them resumes, and nobody would hire me. Nobody. Because I had, you got to have experience.
I
And
hear that so often, man. Yeah.
I mean, 4 years, 3 years is what they're looking for. And so this mom and pop operation hired me on. I'm grateful for that, but that kind of soured because he was cheap.
Mm.
And, I couldn't quite make a living with his wages, with the mortgage and all, you know what I mean? So I was just cruising LinkedIn one day and found this company I'm at now. That was 11 years ago. And I've grown, I've learned, just watching videos really, then reading stuff, getting in front of equipment. Then COVID happened. They laid off everybody except for me.
Oh,
I was,
okay.
yeah, I was kind of thrown to the wolves. I'm doing everything now. And it just happened to where I had to look. It was, but I'm glad it happened because,
How was it during that whole COVID thing? Was it hectic for you guys?
it was slow, but yeah. Yeah. I mean, people were still doing takeout, you know what I mean? Everybody saw that where they're doing all the, taking it out to the cars and everything. But I was still going in there. We still had old folks' homes we were taking care of. So, you had to, suit up. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
going. Yeah,
It was it's always hard to explain that part because every state is also different, like how they handled
yeah,
it. But like for us, there was a little bit of concern, right? Everybody had concern because like what do you do, right? And we were just like you said, it might have been a little bit slow, but that only for a little bit or maybe at the beginning. Like
yeah,
we did get a few days off talking to restaurants like, "Hey, what are you guys going to do?" Cuz everything got put on pause. But
yeah,
we were
yeah,
there like the next week cuz they were like, "Can you start, checking this? This went down. This is, we're still
yeah.
doing
Right.
curbside and takeout and drive-through." So the one thing that doesn't stop is like during that time, obviously hospitals, but like restaurants and all these necessities that people needed because a lot of stuff spiked during that time, which was like anything food wise, like restaurants, groceries, deliveries. A
Yes.
lot of I know that's probably why there's a lot of Uber and all those drivers now that
Yeah,
yeah.
just they all did it, but they all still needed their equipment running at the same time. It's just they won't
Yeah,
stop it.
because even well, the only good thing that came out of that is now we do have a lot of delivery and curbside options because our grocery stores all invested in expanding that like part of their stores. So now there's a huge side of all the grocery stores here that only do curbside, and everybody only does curbside now, and it's crazy. So yeah, that's always a hard part to explain. I'm like, yeah, it wasn't too bad, but like it did slow down, and then like it picked back up. I still worked quite a bit. I still worked weekends and nights sometimes. Like it was still like pretty busy.
Yeah, I mean they had half the staff in the kitchen, so it was nice. Plenty of
Oh,
room to
dude.
work. Yeah,
Yeah.
remember that?
I I I thought it was such a nice change of pace, right? There was nobody on the road. There was nobody
Mhm.
in the actual restaurant. You had time, you had room. It was a lot nicer.
It was. This thing kicked back in, and now it's back to normal and hectic, and yeah. But the only one thing that I did notice coming out of that was the staff, the managers, the staff. Everybody was new. It seemed like
Oh
all the
yeah.
old left, and it's like now you basically have to retrain all the managers to what to look for because they're fresh. They don't, they never got the proper training. Keep that door closed. Just keep the door closed for me. That's all you do. This here, you got to shut your cold rails off at night. You got to take all the stuff out. Just things like that. But it all worked out. I think it's normal.
It's something I've touched on as well as like educating your customers. I mean, you have to, right? Because
Mhm.
they just go up there, whether it's a thermostat or whatever that they can mess with. They just want to like turn it down, and they're like, "Well, I don't know why it's not working." Right? So walk-ins, like I said earlier, I've gone in and I'm like, "Hey, you see that door open? That's your problem, right? That's why it's like frosted up inside or icing up." And then the cold rail is another super difficult one for me because it like you said, there's always new managers. I've had to deal with that recently. Like there's some that move around and there's some that like that quit or not quit, but like they demoted themselves because they couldn't take it. Like, and I need to kind of dive into more of that stuff because I don't know. Like, I've talked to a few of them and I feel like they go through so much crap as a area manager or a store manager at these restaurants because
They do a lot.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why I always say like that's even though they raised a lot of the pay for that stuff, it's sometimes it's still not worth it. And look into a trade where you can feel valued and work your own like the kind of job that you want to work.
Yeah.
Because I've heard some bad
I
things from
couldn't
those
do it.
managers.
I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
No, they ask them to do so much, and they're always working. I feel like I'm there all week, going in and out for maintenance and other calls, and they're always there. And then I work on the weekend sometimes. I'm like, what are you still doing here? You worked all week.
And their salary, so they don't,
Yeah.
salary.
I also want to thank the sponsors of the show, like Jobber, which is a CRM that we use to run our business, which is invoicing, quoting, scheduling jobs, maintenance contracts, and all our technicians on our team usually pick it up relatively quickly. I just have to show them what it is and they are able to get out there and start, invoicing. It's been great running our business with Jobber now. And if you guys want a free trial and discount, make sure to check the link down below, getjobber.com/reliable HVACR. I also want to thank VETO Pro Pack, the best quality bags that money can buy, literally. If you invest in these bags, as I did during the whole pandemic, I ripped so many backpacks and tool pouches that I finally, I found VETO. I think there's some YouTube videos. So check out VETO Pro Pack at your supply house or go to vetopropack.com to learn more. I know we've talked about like Heatcraft and Intelligen.
Yes.
We have a lot of Russell equipment now, or what's
Yeah.
that one called? EcoNet.
Yeah.
So I'm the one that knows how to work on it. Some guys, I go behind or compete with might not, and I'm like, well, okay, that's my advantage. I can sit there and go through the system and take my time and get it running the way it should, because there's so many settings that you can mess up on those things, which blows my mind because I mentioned that in the Heatcraft episode that I had. I was like, yeah, I've had guys that go in there and mess with like the superheat, or they label it a freezer when it's a cooler, and like that throws it off too. Like
Yeah, it does.
I thought it was pretty straightforward, but some people have set these wrong, and that's all I've had to do is go and set them right.
I mean, they dumbed them down so much. I don't know how you can mess them up. Really, I mean, it's just that's with the intelligent. I don't know how you can, but you're the hero once you all just reprogram it. I had a problem with that one that I showed you. It on startup, brand new EV. They usually open midway 150. Went to 60, then it would
Hmm.
creep up to 70. Then I can hear the condenser on top short cycle because it wouldn't open up enough.
Oh yeah.
So I let it. I had the advantage of letting it sit for a couple of days, let me stew over it. I had other stuff to do. They already have another walk-in freezer, so I went up to it. I just restored the board. I just did a factory reset on the board, and voila, it started working again. Brand new out of the box. Yeah, fine, don't touch it. So I just put the settings
Yeah.
back in the way they're supposed to be, and that that was a huge relief. That was a lot of work to do to have something like that. Yeah.
There was I wonder if that's like a, because I had some, but it just wouldn't open. Yeah, it wouldn't open the expansion valve. I don't think I tried resetting it. I wonder if that would have like helped, because it was under warranty, so they just sent me another board, and I was like, yeah, that fixed it. Because sometimes it's a little difficult. You gotta be patient with it and kind of see what it does and all that. So I've had
Yeah.
those issues every now and then, but for the most part, I haven't had any more like in the past couple of years.
No, they're pretty good. You see, that was the one anomaly. I was like, man, what the world is going on? It's brand new. And, like I said, it was a bare bones unit. And I had to, put the EV in and everything. And what was weird about that one, and since it was a bare bones unit, the little copper tube for your suction tip sensor,
Yeah.
it was field mount. It was not mounted to the header. So I had a
So you.
field mount.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that part when had told me.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, I put it in, just to make sure I did it. I moved it further in. I used the heat transfer putty, make sure it was really insulated, real good. It was just all they really use the suction temp is for the fan delay and the superheat. So,
Yeah.
but once I restored that board, everything was kosher. And like, thank God.
And
Then it ran.
sometimes, yeah, and sometimes it's the simplest things. That's what you
So,
gotta realize when you do this kind of work is, because I used to overthink everything.
yeah.
And I know you said you've been in it like 10 years now or around there.
Yep. I did
And
HVAC for 4 straight up. Then it was refrigeration for the last 7.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
See, you talk about like getting thrown into the fire because you were the only, like, you were retained during that layoff, right? And then you get
Yeah,
all the work.
I was a PM tech. So I
Oh,
was in
okay.
front of stuff. Yeah, I was the actual PM tech, and they liked me really a lot. 'Cause I work hard. I was always there and on time, everything, and so he kept me on. So once that happened, he's like, "Hey, you go out here and look at this." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?" Okay, I'll try. He said, "I'm a phone call away. Just that
That's what I tell my guys too. Like, if you ever get stuck, just call me. I can walk you through most things,
yeah,
right?
wait
Because
and wait all day."
we have a apprentice right now, but he's a little bit older because he switched careers as well, but still younger than me, right under me. But he like he was that kind of tech too. Like, he's so good as a helper and wanting to learn, because every time I run into him, and sometimes I've gotten to help him. He's like, "Why did you do that? Why did you do it this way? Why this? Why that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, let me explain to you, because I'll give them the quick rundown of what we're looking at and what we're doing. But then if they ask more questions, that's always better. I can explain it further." And he's like, "Oh, okay." Like he's always that kind of he's been that kind of person. And now he has his own van. We gave him an Astro van because he was running maintenance, right, and didn't need much. And then he started running calls. Like he's been running calls for a couple months now. And we gave him the express that we had. We're like, yeah, you outgrew that van. You're running your own calls. You should carry some parts. So that dude is like taking off right now.
Good. That's
And
good. You get somebody like that, you got to keep them, Adrian.
oh, I
You don't.
know, I know,
They're hard to come by nowadays.
they
Yeah.
are.
Yes, they
And
are.
we have
Yeah.
another one, but he's much younger. He's like straight out of high school, so he's gonna go to trade school, and we're gonna have him on board. Him, he's a kid, and I remember being that age. Like you're not. He's interested. He likes it. He's been wanting to do it, and he's a one of my cousin's kids. So like I do know him, but sometimes he's not super focused, right? Like I get it. Like he's a kid. He's 18 or
Yeah.
something. And I'm like, but he really wants to learn it and get into it, and he really wants to work for us. So, that's cool too. It's just that the other one just blew me away because he came from nursing. So I thought he was going to be in and out, honestly.
Really?
And he got a chance, and he's been a hard worker. Like he does everything that he's asked of. He asks questions. He'll call us when he needs something, and just, oh, okay, I got it, and he'll do it. So that's
There
been
you go.
great. That's always been my concern as a growing company, trying to find guys. That's always the hardest part.
We have the same issue. I think everybody does, but we have positions open. We can use probably five more guys, to be honest with you, at least.
Uh, that
At least.
that's the thing with social media is I'm always talking to guys, and I'm like, I wish you guys lived down here because I would just hire you on the spot. I'll pay you whatever you want.
I don't want your heat. I can't do your heat. You know.
Where are
So
you from again?
I'm in Hampton, Virginia. So
So
we're right on the East
what
Coast.
what's your
Right.
weather right now?
Well, I'm sitting outside. It's 68 degrees outside right now. So
I can't wait for
yeah.
that, man. We have 102, 105 right now.
Oh, yeah. It's
No.
dry. You got the humidity too, though.
Yeah, because where I'm at, I got the best of everything, I guess. I'm like an hour and a half or so away from the beach, the coast. Yeah, and like we get the humidity, so it just feels real ugly outside. Right when it's hurricane season, like that's ramping up, all that weather comes through. I can tell when it's going to rain because it gets really nasty and humid, or
Yeah.
extra humid,
You
right?
can feel it.
And you can
Same here.
feel it, and it's going to be the hottest it's ever been, and then it's going to like rain the next week. So we're getting that right now.
We get coastline here. It's a saltwater killer. It just takes out stuff, and they don't like. Well, we just replaced it and whatever. It's, well, you're right there. I've even had like places around the ocean front that they leave their doors open. So many people come in and out.
Oh.
It would corrode the walk-in cooler evaporator because they got the doors open. I mean, that's how bad it could get. And I tell them, you got to keep, the salt water. It's just terrible. Yeah, it
Yeah,
takes stuff out. Yeah.
it's a whole other factor. I was always amazed at that when I had started because we did more work on that side. Now it's like so, but we did a
Hmm.
lot of work over there by the coast, and I was like, man, these are rough.
Yeah. Yeah. We
So
do a
you,
lot. Go ahead.
yeah, my whole point, because I got way off track, was getting thrown into the fire. That's how I learned too, because when I started, it was my dad's company, and we had a refrigeration tech who's the one that I learned a lot of like the tech tips from, right? He's a little bit older, and he was like, yeah, do this, do that, get you out of a bind. Still use some of those tactics now to get myself over the weekend or whatever it is. I was just working on getting my experience, getting my exam done and everything so I could be licensed as well. doesn't mean that I knew anything, right? I was just out there, and he's like, "Hey, we got a hospital. Go fix this. We got all these new customers, right?" Because we're just like running and gunning, and my dad was really good at picking up business. I was like, okay, and every place had a different kind of equipment. Like I remember the one hospital we started with, Hoshizaki ice machines, and they were like
Love it.
huge, and there were some that were stacked. I was like,
Oh,
what am I looking for? So that was a learning experience for sure.
mm-hmm. Love those.
Dump
Love those
learning
sites.
about learning about dump valves and the pumps that would get corroded or stop working. I'm like, okay, like there's a lot of because those are very different from like Manitowocks. I had only seen Manitowocks up until then.
Yeah, yeah. Everything's different. That's what I like about them. The Hershey's are, yeah. I'm the ice machine guy in my company, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yes, they send me on all the ice machine calls. I don't mind it. I mean, like you're talking about, refrigeration's a patient man game, especially when it comes to an ice machine. And you get those huge they're 45 minutes each cycle, and I'll watch three back,
Oh yeah,
and it looks like you're on your phone, but I got my probes hooked up to it, and just waiting, make sure that one step doesn't get missed, because
yep.
that's all it for an ice machine. That's what I always tell the young guys when I'm teaching them. They do one thing all the time, every time. And it's just if one thing gets missed, there it goes. That's your problem right there. And that's the one thing I did learn about them is that right there, that one step. If it misses that one step, doesn't do it correctly, no bueno.
Oh yeah, you got to pay attention when you do ice machines because, and I've told guys because we have guys that are doing like the maintenance now. We picked up ice machine maintenance for one of our customers finally, which
Yeah.
they're super
10
nasty.
years ago.
Yeah, finally got it. So I just try to explain to them there's a process, and usually it's labeled somewhere in inside the panel.
Mhm.
If not, just look up the manual. And I'm like, you gotta pay attention to those times, right? You're timing like everything,
Yeah.
and once it gets out of that little time range, or it's like on the edge of it, that's when you get a little concerned. And I'm like, okay, that's when you start like checking things because that freeze cycle, that harvest time, if anything's out of range from what it says, you're gonna have issues, or you're gonna get a call back at some point. So
Now,
yeah, that was a whole learning experience, and that's a lot of stuff that I worked on when I started. So I didn't know anything, and learning that kind of stuff, kind of now I feel, or later on I felt way more comfortable because I had all the hard stuff when I started, and then just being like, go fix it, go figure it out.
yeah.
And that's the best way to learn because I went through trade school. You said you went to a like a night school as well,
Yeah,
right?
pretty cool. Yeah, it's a nice school. It was taught
They
by a guy that owned their own business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I did all four courses.
Yeah.
I can do my journeyman's anytime I want. I just haven't done it. I don't know why. But yeah, he was big on capacitors. I gave a prop to that. He loved capacitors. I mean, we learned everything there is to know about a capacitor. You
But you learn the basics, right? Like you get
Yes,
the
we did. Yeah.
basics. It's a little bit different when you get out in the field.
It is. Yeah, but you don't forget that little bit. That's the key to it. You know, that's the
I
key. It's just,
always I always say that was my advantage when I went out to something and it was like a weird issue or whatever. I could recall like the stuff that I learned, right? In school cuz I had the same experience. There was a couple of guys that owned their own business. So they always gave us like the rundown of their calls and what they've gone through, and that helped a lot too. And they were I got lucky. I had some good instructors, and
I had one. He liked me a lot. He would have me help him do installs.
oh
When he was
okay.
on the install or something, he would have me come and help and pay me good money too. I was like, wow. I was just running, whatever do whatever he told me to do, and him and another guy did the actual work.
That's
You
cool.
know, just getting in front. This is
I
residential stuff.
I never
You know,
volunteered. We had I forgot what you call those things, like a group. It was a school group or something. I forgot what it's called. It's like after school. and they had us. It was a good way to get experience, but I just at that time I was kind of like working and going to school, and I was like I don't want to work more, but
Yeah.
they had us volunteer if you wanted to, and you could go and like kind of work on some equipment, and I guess they did it as I'm assuming they did it as a charity thing. I'm not sure how that worked, but
Right.
they had that kind of
Oh,
program
we
for
can
that
go to
too.
people's houses or businesses, or is that where
From
you
what I
did it?
understand, it was just people's houses. I don't know.
Okay. Not bad. And that's a nice thing to do.
Just you see a bunch of kids coming over and trying
Oh
to work
yeah.
on trying to work on your system.
Yeah. No, hopefully the one guy's there that knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so how long? Okay, so you came from construction type of work, like different kinds of jobs, and
Yeah.
then you, what made you finally like decide to do the whole HVAC thing? Like, was there
My
something that
mom.
you just that you just wanted
Well, she convinced me. I mean, she said, "Look, these guys, they work their butts off. You like to work your butt off. You like to work overtime. They work overtime. The money's good. It takes a while, but the money's good. You got to work at it, and and it's a whole nother trade. Plus, it bleeds off into a lot of other stuff. You're in a house, if you're an HVAC guy, you're, you can do a lot of stuff
to?
that you ought to know about. Yeah, I'll never forget
Yeah,
I was
go ahead.
here. We had an old R22 system here. That thing steamed up, the steam coming from the top, and I didn't know what it was. It was in defrost, and that's all it was. And I'm like, oh God, you know, we paid the guy $150 to come out, even though he worked
Oh,
with them.
okay.
Yeah, so
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
no, it's
We
just
and we talked about it earlier. We've had those calls too. We're like, come over our walk-in freezer. The fans are off, or this and that. I'm like, can you give it 30
those.
minutes and then call me back? Make sure it's not in defrost.
Yeah,
So
that's where it pays to have the good managers. They understand. Yeah, but
yeah, but if they want us out, we'll charge them.
yeah, we'll charge 3 hour minimum, I guess. Yeah, but
Was it hard for you to pick up the HVAC trade, or do you think you got it early on, or was
yeah,
that COVID thing? You're kind of like just push into the fire, like you said.
yeah. I mean, it was a different world. It's a different world. I've seen like on construction sites. I've seen the guys doing all the work. The buildings and things. I'm like, okay, that's a little different. Then once I got into it and I started getting in front of stuff and I'd call the boss for advice and everything. And being an older guy, they kind of trust you to do a little bit more.
Yeah,
So
I've been the kid that nobody trusts or nobody like that. I got looked at differently as a kid, even
mm-hmm.
though I had my license in my early 20s. It was I've talked about that, and like again, like you mentioned, nobody hired because of experience. There's always like I don't know. There's different ways or different obstacles, getting into a company and then gaining their trust. And like you said, maybe you had an advantage there because of your previous trades and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working for 30 years. So, I started working when I was 13 years old. So, I mean, physical
Hey,
work. Yeah.
mine's close to 13. I'm trying to get him into something.
Yeah, my son just getting ready to turn 20. He actually works at my company.
Mm,
So, he's learning to be a PM tech. And I told him
that's
that's
cool.
a good place to start. And you got to be patient with it. You got to have time and, get the experience, get in front of things. But I said, being a PM tech, especially what we do, so he's going pretty much the same route that I did with the refrigeration. He comes to
Hmm.
my campus and he does all the refrigeration PMs, does the ice machine cleanings. And I've worked through with them about the ice machines. I said, look, this is the perfect time to learn ice machines.
Yeah.
When they're working, I mean, that's how I learned it. I mean, basically what the PM got. We clean all the ice machines, and you don't just walk away after you clean it. You got to watch it make ice. So you monitor, especially with the Manitowoc, you can put it on the screen and it shows you everything it's doing. And so that's a good way to learn how it's supposed to work. And that's what I tell a lot of these young guys is that's how you do it. When you clean ice machines, pay attention. Don't just be on your phone. Watch it. Watch the
Mm-hmm.
water, what it does, the cycles, and you know, put a timer on it. Put a timer on your phone and watch it. That's the biggest thing. And
Yep.
that's what we do as a service tech. So just time. I mean, watch and learn, and once you get enough of it, you really start kicking. It gets up here in your head, and you know that's where you learn.
That's what I tell people too. And I know I mentioned it somewhere recently. Like that is one of the good ways to learn is when you like do maintenance. So don't take maintenance for granted, right? Or people are like, "Oh, I'm just a filter changer." Don't take it for granted. Like you're there without any stress, without any concern for fixing something, right? You're not there to fix something. You're not being rushed. You're not like take advantage of that and pay attention to what or how it works, how it sounds. Look at inside the panels, look around, get familiar with it. That's the best way to learn. And I've even gone as far as because like my dad would always try to make it simple for me because I like I said earlier, I used to stress out a lot about the jobs that I would get because
Yeah.
when I started, it was just me and him, and it's like if you don't know, my dad was like, if you don't know, I don't know. He's like, you do the
It
refrigeration, right? Like my dad does the hot side. Like we don't know each other's work, so he trusted me a lot, and I was like, man, that's a lot of pressure. But
is.
and I only had book smarts because at that point I went to trade school and then I got my license. The guy that I got my experience from, it was like between a residential guy and that guy that I talked about, but he wasn't with us too long. So I was like, I didn't really get a lot of experience under that for what I do specifically. And he's like, well, it was a lot of pressure, right? So another thing is like obviously maintenance. We try to do maintenance. We try to figure out how they work. Try to pay attention to the wiring. Look at the wire diagram. Try to learn that. That has saved me so many times. Learning a diagram and knowing what each symbol means, right? Like close on pressure rise, pressure drop. All these little things. And also, I, like I'm fortunate that I do commercial where I go to a rooftop and I might have two, three, or four identical units. So if I'm stumped on one of them, my dad's like, "Why don't you go look at the other one and see if it's wired the same, or test whatever you're testing on the other one, and then go back and test it against the one that you're working on." I'm like, "Oh, never thought of it like that." So that's something that I've done too, and I told my guys too, like, if you're looking at one, maybe go look at the next one and compare the two. As dumb as that sounds, like maybe you can compare it to a working one, right?
It really helped. You ever pull a control board out of one and put it in the other to see if
Yeah,
that? Yeah.
yeah.
Then
That was always my dad's way of thinking, and I just never thought of it that way, right? Because I
you
was
do
always
that
like,
on the hot side. They do it. I mean, they'll have a fryer here. They just take the
yeah,
wire all the way over to the other control board, and you don't even have to move it. And I've seen guys do that. Yeah, that's a neat little trick. My stepdad's an elevator service man. They would have three elevators. He'd shut one down. He would just start taking parts off the other one.
yeah.
All right, that's it. Then he would order the parts later, put it back, and then get the other one. That's like I learned a lot from him too, as far as that. And
Sometimes you just have to like simplify it, right?
think outside the box.
And that was my
Literally.
point. Yeah, that was my point in something that I was either recording or maybe a podcast. I was like, you gotta get creative as a technician, as a service tech in general.
Yes.
Like, if something doesn't work, how can you make it work? So, that was the whole thing. Like we've done that before, and whether it's a board or something that we can maybe take off a working unit to test it on the one that's not working, just to make sure that it's not that or whatever. So we've done that. Like my dad kind of opened my eyes to that. Like maybe you can compare it to the next one because like, and that only pertains to commercial if you have identical units. So I mean, for the most
True.
part, we do, but
Hmm.
you can do that. And then bypassing boards because I've been stumped on a lot of units when they first had, boards coming out like Train, Lennox. I would first see them and I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Well, sometimes that board just doesn't kick out the proper signal, right? It doesn't give that 24 to whatever your contactor you need. And you check your pressure switches are all closed. So you're like, okay, it's just not coming out. I had to learn how to rewire and kind of simplify things too. Like, okay, let's bypass the board. Let's get the signal from the thermostat or the terminal board, wherever it's landing, and then jump it out to the contactor or something just to get them by. That was always
Right.
my thing when I started, was like, how do I get the customer by if it's like a control board or, something that we have to order. And I learned a lot, trying to do that too.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, just getting it going, right? Making the customer
Yeah, not
happy, you know.
not
Then you can
leaving
do
not
your stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And that doesn't mean leaving like a high pressure control bypassed
Ever.
permanently, right? Because that's just to test. We're not going to leave it like that. And typically there's a reason why it either failed or tripped. So cuz I there were so many dead compressors that I went to and I'm like, well, they're wire nutted all the all the switches, right? And it's like, okay, everything was bypassed and they didn't fix it. So
Right.
that's why the compressor died.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't leave nothing like that. We do a lot of do refrigeration. You don't leave low pressure switches, bypass high pressure switches. I mean, they're there for a reason. And you know, you, a day or two. As long as you know it's working properly. It's not get too much high pressure or whatever. Yeah, you're fine for a couple of days, but then on your conscience, you got to go back and fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you leave that. That's just wrong. People leave it three and ones on a compressor, instead of getting the OEM parts, the star components. And I've seen a ton of that. We got an account that just, it was at another university, and oh my God, they must have bought a stock in the three and ones because that's all it had everywhere across, all this old equipment. And I'm like, yeah, that failed. If they only supposed to last, you know, permanent,
Yeah,
even
you don't get
permanent.
the same uh protection on the compressor with those.
No, you don't, because it's a
So
wide range.
we have those as I always tell people or tell the guys, you can carry one or two and those are just to test. Like, you test the compressor and then you order the parts and then you go back. So there's stuff like that that I keep on the van, cuz I've even talked to guys and they're like, "Do you ever keep old parts?" I'm like, "Yeah, I keep, if it's something we changed out and I know that it like either turns on, like if it's a board or a thermostat or something, I'm like, yeah, I'll keep a little bin of like used parts, like for emergency, that maybe I don't carry that often or it's just really expensive or something. But if it's used and I know that it can kick on a unit or something, I'll keep
Mm-hmm.
that part and I'll use it as a test. And I kind of throw it into that same category as like a three in one. It's to test a compressor to make sure it turns on, and then you can go get the OEM part. So I mean, that's one way to look at it. Those are, to me, those are considered test parts. And then I also have used parts that I use as test parts.
I got a lot of those. I, ice
Yeah, I got a.
machines.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got some in a bin, like a thickness probe or
If you
something, just
change
in
out a
case.
you change out an old ice machine, the water valve works, or if you know the dump valve, or even the ice thickness probe, you just take it off and throw it in the bin, and get
Yeah.
them by on a weekend if they call you for an after hours call for an ice machine, which is always perplexes me. But they need it. I'm there.
When did you feel comfortable like with the refrigeration side? Because that's what you prefer now. Did it take you a while? Was it hard to learn, or was it an easy transition, like you said, maybe from the PM side?
Yeah, it took a while. I mean, after about I think within like a year or two, it started clicking. I mean, to be honest with you, YouTube's been my friend early on. Just
Well, that's what I was gonna say. How did you learn more? Like, was it like a lot of YouTube videos, or did you
yeah,
look up a lot of stuff?
I mean, I remember the very first YouTube video I watched. It was Chris Stevens explaining how a defrost time clock works.
Yeah.
And like nobody would explain to me, yeah, it just does this and this, but nobody would like really explain. So when I searched it, and of course, it came up
Mm-hmm.
first. I clicked. I'm like, wow. Then once you got that, it kind of just went down the line. This is three does this, four does this, and one and in, and just like then you can go to the evaporator, and it's like there it is right there. Then you know it that. Then I started, that's one of my hobbies. Is just watching everybody on YouTube. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it a million times. Dude, I could watch Kurt change a motor a million times. It doesn't matter to me.
There's just something about it, especially his channel, because he
Yeah,
shows everything.
yeah.
And
I like watching other
um,
people too. So, yeah,
yeah, and there was well, like I've talked about this also with other guys. Like I don't even watch a lot of cable anymore. I watch more YouTube, and it could be different kinds of channels, but like I do watch a lot of HVAC stuff. And like you said, once you and that's why like Chris Stevens obviously was one of the first ones, but like all the guys that do that kind of content where they take the time, like they're awesome because they have the patience, they can go through it, and they can help people with those kinds of videos. But
yeah. You do.
once you well, I
Yeah.
try.
You do. You do.
Once you get a grasp on like how things, because that's always my thing. I can't just change a part. I'm like, I need to know what the hell it did, what how it failed, what it's supposed to do. And like you said, like like on a defrost clock, like what each terminal does. Because like the first time I started changing those things, because I didn't have YouTube. There was nothing when I started. Because I feel weird. I've been in this almost 20 years. Saying feel weird saying that, but there was none of that stuff, right? So it was a lot of like looking up manuals or keeping manuals. I had a whole area in my van stacked up of manuals that I would always go through, right? I want to know why it does this or why it does that. And I remember changing out like defrost clocks or whatever pressure controls and just sitting there and staring at them for like a good amount of time, right? Like moving the clock, seeing what the contacts would do on the back, and like just trying to figure it out. And like, I mean, now I'm more in a rush to do things, which I hate. But like when I started, I had more time. So checking voltage everywhere, turning it to defrost, checking again, doing that for switches, doing that for everything. And that's how you learn is you got to understand the part or the equipment forward to back, like all the way around. And that's the only way, because I can't I've had guys that I work with, and I'm like, why did you change that part, or what does it do? And they don't know. They just like, oh, it's always this, and they just change it. And I'm like, I want to know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just start at the basics, right? Ain't that always how it's, you learn? You start at where the electricity, just follow the path, and it'll lead you there. That's one thing I did learn. Once I got the grasp of that, that's when everything got easier. But then you can look at the
Yeah.
wiring diagram. Then you can start following things. Then you get your basics down. Now, they look at the company looks at you. Well, he's good at this. Let's send him on this call. And it's like, oh my god, it's something weird. It's something weird going on. 'Cause not going to do it when you're there. As
Oh
long as it
yeah.
doesn't leave or in the middle of the night, then that's the hardest ones you try to figure out. But over time, it just takes time.
And then it
Yeah,
feels really good to figure it out.
yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's like a big warm fuzzy feeling in your heart. You walk away, you got a
I
smile on your face, everybody's happy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
had one the other day, and this is just like the guys that we have are great, and nobody's perfect. Like every now and then we have and I make mistakes too. Like there was some that I've been stumped on, right? And I have to tell the customer, and I try to be honest with the customer. I'm like, well, look, either we get it going, or it's like you said, maybe they have two coolers and they already have it emptied out, whatever it is. Like I'll try and I'll try and do what I can there, but if I need to, I tell them, look, I'm having some difficulty with whatever it is. I'm gonna go and get some information, come back, and tackle it again, basically. So you got to
Yes.
be honest, because before I would always stress out, and I would be there all day, all night, trying to like figure it out, and I didn't have the resources or the manual with me or anything, and
Well,
that's
you didn't
yeah,
have nobody to call either, did you?
not
I
really,
mean,
not
not
really,
really. Yeah, that's the big difference too.
and
That's hard.
yeah, I did and I didn't. Like there was guys that maybe knew more residential stuff that I knew, like that I could talk to, but nobody did the work that I did. And that
Mm.
one guy that I did learn like some tricks from, I mean, he went to work for another company. He did help me out every now and then, but I couldn't call him all the time. And I don't know. It was just, yeah, a lot of it was on my own. So, I would tell the customer like I got to go get more information. I'll be back. My dad always was like, just be honest with them if you need to. Like, it's
That's
more important to go to tell them that you'll find the answer versus like you don't know or you can't do it. Right.
right.
So
Walk
go
away.
back. Yeah, go back another day or go back later. So do you have anything outside of work that you kind of unwind with? I know you I feel like you put a lot into your work, but do you
I
unwind
do.
in any way?
I go like this year made a effort to go camping more. You know.
I've been trying to get into that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I got a nice big camper right here that I paid for.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so we try to go every month. We go
Okay.
down to North Carolina for a week, 10 days, and just chill. That's Fourth of July. That's my every year trip. They hate it when I go on Fourth of July because it's right in the middle of summer, of course. But I still go, but every month I try to do that, and just we go to this one place where cell phone service is pretty much non-existent.
Just
There's no
gone.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, just chill out, sit in front of the camper. Yeah, maybe even read a book. That's one of
Yeah.
those. But just unwind for 3 or 4 days. All I'm worried about is waking up and you know cooking.
That's
You know?
cool.
I mean, but the camper
That's
has
cool.
everything you need. Yeah, it's TV. I mean, it has everything. So it's
That was
it's
our
great.
next thing that we're looking into, like a camper or RV maybe, like something just to take
Worst
trips
investment
on.
ever. It's the worst investment ever. It's like buying a
Because
boat.
we recently went to a vacation, but we were out. It was like I guess they call it glamping or something because like it has
I,
AC and Wi-Fi and stuff, right?
yeah,
So we were out there. It was out in the middle of nowhere. And
but you're
but what?
But you're out there though. You're not
Oh yeah, yeah,
doing
yeah.
it's
It was
just
very different. And
you
I'm like,
know.
man, we got to keep the kids busy. We're just outdoors. We had a fireplace going. We had barbecue. We had the water there. Like that. Those are my kinds of getaways now too, right? I don't want to be in the city. I don't want to do any of that crap. So I was worried about the kids, but they loved it. So I'm like, okay, cool. And my son is like, when are we going again? I was like, we need to like make this a little more frequent because it's a nice little getaway.
It is. I mean, you get the family together. Like I said, my son's almost 20 years old. He doesn't even go camping with us anymore. I only have one kid, so it's me
Yeah.
and the wife and two dogs and a cat. And we just pack it up and we go to a local place here that we're a membership of, and you probably look
Okay.
into that too. It's you the amount you pay in a month is one night of camping.
Oh
So
yeah.
you can stay there for 2 weeks if you wanted to. But yeah,
Yeah.
that worked out great. I mean, that's what I do. That and yard work, you know.
Just more work around the house.
That's it. Yeah, I like cutting grass. I don't know why, but I just like hopping on the mower and just listen to music and just go up and down. I got almost an acre, so I just go up and down. Yeah, cut
Nice.
grass. The weekend goes by so fast that
Yeah.
Monday's already here, and it's just darn it. Gotta go back
I
to it.
know. I
I
know.
enjoy it.
And
Yeah,
you were at one of the AHRs, right? Was it which one was it?
I went to Orlando, then I went to Atlanta.
Atlanta, I think is where I had seen you.
Then I went.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was the last, well, not the last two, right? Chicago, I think, was in between.
Yeah, I'm not going
Uh,
there. Too cold.
I don't want to either. I don't want to go back.
I'm going to Vegas. I'll be in Vegas.
Okay, cool. That's what I
Yeah.
was gonna ask if you were going to go again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a reason to go to Vegas too. So never been to Vegas.
That's the one to go to, man. It's gonna be fun.
I'm looking.
Did you have a good time in Orlando?
Yes, I did. Yes.
It was
It was
hot.
after being in Atlanta. You kind of the first time, the second time, you already know what to expect. Put some good shoes on because they're going to be walking
Oh, dude, yeah,
miles and miles and miles. And I loved it though. I like seeing all the stuff. And meeting you guys was awesome too. That was
yeah. Like
nice.
I've been a few times. The first time was looking at the booths and stuff that they have and everything, and then after that, I'm like, who can I run into? Because it's always cool to just catch people walking by and then like talk to them and kind of meet with them and stuff. And that's always my favorite part is seeing everybody, because we know everybody from social media and stuff, and that's always the fun part.
Yeah, that was I love it. Just being immersed in everything and met
And
up
it's
with a lot
tools.
of guys, seeing the night chat. That was really cool too. Meeting up with them and you know,
Yeah.
putting faces,
Oh,
to
I
the
know,
name.
because we were
Yeah.
there doing the pavilion, which we'll be doing again, and it was
Oh,
just cool to see everybody in the chat. We've been here over an hour. I don't want to keep you too long, obviously.
okay.
I want you to enjoy your long weekend here. Um, so you being, especially you being or going to HVAC a little bit later and just kind of learning. You said you did like some residential or some HVAC in the
It
beginning.
was a mix between light commercial and residential. Yes,
Okay, so
residential. Did
doing
install.
that, getting into refrigeration. A lot of guys ask me how to get into refrigeration, or how is it getting into refrigeration from like being an AC tech or an installer or something like that. So I don't know if you want to end on something as far as like the
Yeah, I
maybe the
mean,
advice transition type of deal for that.
to me, it's just wanting to do it, but it's basically all the same refrigeration cycle. To really break it down, it's just controls are different, and that's one thing you learn. I mean, actually, I think refrigeration's easier, especially a walk-in.
Well, I'm dealing with that right now because I hate dealing with like humidity issues or like the comfort side of it, right? The
Uh,
duct. I always take for granted that the installer did something correctly, and then you go up there and it's not installed correctly. So there's a little more things. That's what I'm trying to teach like my new guys, like, okay, like, is it blowing cold air? But then go a step further. Is your duct in good condition? Is your attic space good? Like, there's a bunch of factors outside of the refrigeration cycle on the
yeah.
AC side, or more so than the refrigeration.
That's what I like about refrigeration. It's pretty
Yeah,
cut and
me
dry.
too.
It's going to get there or not, and that's the thing. Is everything clean? Is everything working? Your fans working? And really, that's about it. Then you start getting
And
the ice
then
reports, and that's where things kind of change, and get different control systems, and walk-ins.
different
Yeah,
safeties and things like that. That's kind of the difference in a lot of those, like fan cycle controls that stumped some of my guys. And I'm like, okay,
mhm,
you like, yeah, and I'm like, it needs that. Don't bypass that. Like, it needs that to work, to drop ice and all that kind of stuff. So there's different differences there. I always say it's like the safeties and the things in between your major components that are different. Everything else is the same. The only difference on the AC side is you're looking at more of the comfort side, right?
mhm,
Like, is a conditioned space comfortable, all that kind of stuff. Not to say you don't have that issue on walk-in boxes, but it's just a box, right? Like, it will condition itself most likely.
but it's also this: if you want to work, get into refrigeration. But then you can
See,
really get into stuff. We're not even talking. I wouldn't even want to get into supermarkets. I was thinking of actually getting into that. Then I saw the level of commitment
same,
and night
same.
stuff.
I've
No
been
thanks.
asked, I've been asked about it, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds interesting. That sounds awesome." And then I look into it. I'm like, I don't think I want that.
No, just yeah, a lot of time away from home. I mean, I
Yeah,
already spend a lot away from home. I don't need to spend more.
if
Yeah,
you're younger, or you want the hours, the supermarket is a great space for that.
mhm,
Um, commercial refrigeration, that's always one complaint I get is the hours. I'm like, yeah, you can kind of control it. Like we do light commercial, we do restaurants, and of course you're gonna get those calls. We used to do 24-hour restaurants, and now we don't because they would always call in the middle of the night. But or like the gas stations where my dad turned down gas stations recently. He's like, we're not doing that anymore because they always call at weird times.
Hmm.
And but we've been able to control it through like maintenance, or I tell the guys, if you're there on a Friday or towards the end of the week, just look around and make sure you're not going to have a call for the weekend. Like there's little things you can do um, to kind of, because we work weekends, but we don't work a lot. Like it hasn't been that bad. So you can kind of control it.
That's true. I mean, I don't work too many weekends, and it's not like residential on call where it's just bam, bam, bam all day long. It's you get two calls, and that's enough.
Thanks again, Mike. I appreciate you
You know,
for
thank you.
sitting down.
It was nice, man. This really like this. It's pretty good. We just do it again sometime.
Oh, for sure. I like you said, I don't think we got into everything we
Uh,
needed to. There's plenty to talk about on
yes, yes, sir.
refrigeration and the stuff that you got going on. So we'll definitely have to do it again.
Yeah,
But it was an awesome conversation. I know it's going to be great for people listening. So thanks
I
again.
hope so. I hope so. All
No, it was
right. Thank
great.
you. Amy.
All right, everybody watching and listening, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right.